With tournament play, it's just even more thrilling. So I just want to do my best for my team, and this gives me the opportunity to do that.
The game was very close, but UTSA found a lovely way to win it in big board sports. In women's college basketball, number 6 UTSA faced number 11 Florida Atlantic in the first round of the Conference USA Championships in Frisco. Roadrunners down 2 with 6 seconds to play, and former Steel Knight Sydney Love hit 2 clutch free throws to seal the deal. UTSA wins a nail-biter 69-68. After the game, Love, who scored a game-high 20 points, was asked, how did she keep so cool under the pressure at the line?
We were always, after practice, we finished with free throws every time, so I kind of just put myself in that situation and just block out the noise, and I know I can make them, so I was just locked into that moment.
I told them before the game, when you get into tournament play, it doesn't have to be pretty. You know, it's just you're trying to win, and whatever you have to do that, and I thought that they took that to heart, and I'm just super proud. I mean, we won a game here last year, and you want to build on that and have a chance to win more than one. We've given ourselves a chance to do that now.
UTSA will now face the third-ranked Rice Owls tomorrow at 2 p.m. It is time now to introduce you to Gina Perez as we continue to celebrate Women's History Month. Gina was born and raised in San Antonio, and she went to Thomas Jefferson High School and graduated in 1993. She played volleyball, basketball, soccer, golf, and track. She also played club volleyball and softball from age 10 to 18. Back then, sports was a huge part of her life, and it still is. So we asked, what does Women's History Month mean to her?
I would say sports changed my life. I mean, you know, I come from an era where we didn't have as much resistance as, say, my parents' era or something, where women could play sports. Growing up from middle school and elementary school, I played on a lot of boys' teams because there wasn't enough participation. But by the time you got to middle school and organized sports, you know, women started to get together and have entire teams. And it paved the way for me. I mean, the thing I always remember, and it sticks with me, is no pass, no play. Like that made me make sure that my grades were on task, and all through high school, it led me to college, and college determined what my career was going to be. And sports, getting a scholarship and playing in softball really helped me drive my career.
Gina played college softball at Texas A&M and is an all-time great in Aggie land. A lot has changed for today's student athletes compared to when Gina was in high school and college back in the 1990s.
I would say it's easier in a different way. So I think, you know, the athletes today have different challenges that we didn't have before or even in my time. But just like when I came along, there was women before me that paved the way. I think we paved a bigger path too that helped the athletes today have more opportunity and acceptance and not so much of the this is the way it's done, how it's always been, it's not going to change. You know, they definitely have different opportunities now. The challenges that they have now are you know, discussion points, you know, for a table and dinner, but it you know, it just evolves.
Tonight at 10, Gina will discuss helping to pave the way for today's student athletes and how her supposed lack of size never stopped her from competing as we continue to celebrate Women's History Month on International Women's Day.
I like these features.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. I'm glad you do.
And how other women paved the way, how they're carrying it forward, all that good stuff.
It's been fun.
Yeah. Thanks, Larry.
All right, coming up next here, we're going to take you back out to breaking news on the South Side. We've got some new information about what's happening here at this nursing home. Next.
I want to take you back to that breaking news situation at a nursing home on the South Side. We are learning that firefighters responded to a report of a fire call initially.
This happened just before 6 o'clock on Roosevelt Avenue near VFW Boulevard and East-South Cross. That's where we find our John Paul Barajas. He's been there for the last 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, John Paul, we're hearing more than 30 people had to evacuate. We saw a number of them behind you off the top of the show.
Yeah, and I've only been here about 30 minutes, and you saw those people in the last live shot. All those people have already been taken back inside, so things are cleaning up and clearing out around here. What we know is, unfortunately, we don't know what caused the fire. We know it started on a mattress. They say it's minimal fire damage. No residents were hurt, but one nurse was taken to the hospital due to smoke inhalation. The battalion chief we spoke to says he credits the staff and the fire doors inside the complex or inside the nursing home for minimal damages. He says there's probably upwards of 100 residents here, but because of the fire doors, they only had to evacuate about those 30 to 40 people. The smoke damage is kind of contained in 2 units, so 2 people are displaced, but they will be relocated just to another wing of this building. They said they are wrapping up here right now. He said it was a fantastic job by everybody here and the fire doors inside. They're wrapping up, picking up the hoses as we speak. They said they will have some cleanup crews left over trying to pick up what they said was debris and smoke or foam from the fire extinguisher, because they actually said one of the staff members also used that to help put out the fire. He says it's an amazing job by them, a very good, clean effort by everybody that led to no residents being hurt and only 1 staff member being taken to the hospital due to smoke inhalation. So pretty much all good news there. Steve, Myra?
Very good news. Thank you, John Paul. By the way, those fire doors not only keep the fire from spreading, also keep the smoke from spreading. So that's why they only had to evacuate a part of the building. We've got more breaking news now. This just in, a Bexar County judge denying Michelle Barrientos Vela's request for a new trial. The ruling comes just hours after Judge Velia Mesa heard arguments from the former constable's attorneys. Barrientos Vela's team tried to make a case based on flub testimony from a Texas Ranger, along with things like jurors sleeping and coughing during key moments of last year's trial. Barrientos Vela sentenced to 5 years probation, 90 days in jail for tampering with security payment logs. Again, she has been denied her request for a new trial.
The acting FAA administrator appearing on Capitol Hill today to testify about safety in the skies. This hearing comes amid a spike in near misses, aborted takeoffs, and unruly passengers. ABC's Jacqueline Lee gives us the highlights of that hearing, along with what steps will be taken next.
Acting FAA Administrator Billy Nolan testified before Capitol Hill after nearly 350 died in 2 fatal 737 MAX crashes. A scathing 2020 House of Representatives report saying the FAA had grossly insufficient oversight.
We believe that everyone is entitled to a level of safety no matter where in the world they fly. We are recruiting a workforce that can meet the demands of the future.
Nolan told the Senate Commerce Committee the FAA is ramping up oversight of Boeing and adding nearly 300 employees to its safety office, and also implementing elements of the Bipartisan Aircraft Certification, Safety, and Accountability Act. Lawmakers also grilled Nolan about a series of near misses and violent, disturbing incidents in the air.
I'm taking over this plane.
On Sunday, terrifying moments on board a LA flight to Boston. 33-year-old Francisco Torres is accused of threatening passengers and trying to stab a flight attendant several times in the neck with a broken metal spoon.
What the heck is going on in air travel?
We have set a zero tolerance policy around unruly passengers. It is just simply not allowed.
At Boston Logan International Airport earlier this week, 2 United planes clipped wings as one pushed back from the gate.
We've got to rebuild the system to build in more buffer to prevent incidents from getting even that close to disaster.
And next week, the FAA will hold a safety summit in Washington. The FAA is saying it will examine all aspects of the nation's aviation system to understand why we are seeing so many close calls. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, New York.
An Austin man now recovering after he was rescued by a 25-year-old man who jumped into action to remove him from a burning car crash. That 25-year-old ended up being Minnesota Vikings wide receiver KJ Osborne. Osborne in an Uber in Austin when they came upon a fiery wreck under a bridge. He ran out of the car with his driver, finding a man trapped inside. Osborne, the Uber driver, 2 other Good Samaritans teaming up to save that guy, pulling him from the wreckage. Osborne doesn't yet know the identity of the man he saved, but he's looking forward to meeting him again.
I'm kind of actually excited to be able to find out who this guy was, just to be able to shake his hand, and God is real. And, I'm just happy, we were able to save this man's life.
After emergency personnel arrived and brought the man to the hospital, Osborne had a moment to breathe and take this selfie with the 3 people he calls heroes.
What a story.
He's among them.
The train derailments, they keep on happening. This latest one involving a non-hazardous freight train in West Virginia. All 109 train cars were empty at the time of this crash, according to West Virginia emergency management officials. They say the cause of the derailment was a rock slide. One part of the train caught fire and one fuel tank went into a nearby river. 3 employees were on that train and they were taken to a hospital.
The crews are working to dismantle the amusement park ride where a 14-year-old boy fell to his death last year in Orlando. Tyree Sampson died on March 24th after boarding the 430-foot drop tower. His autopsy confirmed that he weighed more than the recommended maximum rider weight. That's according to a state investigation. The ride operator also, according to that investigation, manually adjusted Sampson's seat so he was able to slip out from the harness when that ride dropped. We'll be right back.
Today we celebrate International Women's Day, a global holiday celebrated in observance of women's rights movements and the achievements of women all across the world.
Now, to mark the occasion, a large group of women took the oath of citizenship to become U.S. citizens. Our Jonathan Cotto shares their stories.
It is my honor to welcome you to your naturalization ceremony.
In observance of International Women's Day, 50 women participated in a naturalization ceremony at City Hall today.
You may lower your hand.
Taking an oath of citizenship to become United States citizens.
Each of you is now a citizen of the United States of America. Congratulations.
A momentous occasion for Sonia Barreiro, a dentist originally from Venezuela.
I'm very proud to be in this country. This country has served so much for me. I'm very, very grateful to be here, so it's an honor.
I pledge allegiance to the flag.
21-year-old Andrea Donati says the path to citizenship has not been easy. She came to the U.S. from Venezuela at 11 years old. Donati is studying chemical engineering and says the U.S. offers opportunities her home country doesn't.
You don't have the same advantages as you would have here in the United States. And that's one of the things that I really appreciate about the United States, all of the opportunities that they offer to any people.
The naturalization ceremony was hosted by the City of San Antonio, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, and the Federal District Court for the Western District of Texas.
Congratulations.
Reporting Jonathan Cotto, KSAT12 News.
The winners for the Texas Cavaliers River Parade art contests are selected and they have their awards. And now we wait to get closer to Fiesta time. The contest is put on by the Texas Cavaliers every year. This year's theme for the parade is Fantastic Voyage. Organizers say many designs incorporated bringing Fiesta into traveling and taking a journey. The grand prize winner will get to be an honorary float ride participant and get scholarship money to UTSA.
Talented little artists there.
I know, those are always so cool to see every year.
You know, Fiesta's not that far away.
I know.
Yeah.
Wild.
Here's a look at live cam. By the way, Adam will give us another look at the forecast for the rest of the week. A couple of kind of cold fronts coming our way.
I think he called him wimpy. Okay, even if they are wimpy cold fronts, I'll take a wimpy one over no cold front whatsoever.
Yeah, just as long as it gets some of this humidity out of there, and I'll take it.
Yeah.
It's variety, right? Let's look at it that way.
It's the spice of life.
Isn't it though?
Is. Yeah. It is. These cold fronts are. We're going to get to a time of year where we don't get the cold fronts. So even if they're not very strong, we can at least embrace them for the time being. Morning temperatures aren't going to be very affected by the first cold front. Near 60 for a low on Saturday. Next week, though, that's when you'll really notice the change. And by Monday, we're back down to 54 in the morning. Tuesday, 46 degrees in the morning. So long sleeve weather will return next week. I would say at the bus stop, but I think a lot of kids have spring break next week, so not necessarily at the bus stop. All right, take a look at the readings across the state. Big difference, 90 in Laredo. Meanwhile, 47 currently in Abilene, Midland 47, Lubbock at 52 degrees. There's that boundary. It was a cold front. Now it's stalled out, so I have it drawn as a stationary boundary. And it actually made it through Fredericksburg today, even approaching Rock Springs. Thicker cloud cover throughout the day as well, keeping the temperatures down in parts of the hill country. But Ozona 55, Fredericksburg 67, 82 here in San Antonio. Cotulla still at 90 degrees, so quite a range of temperatures across the state, north to south, when you factor in this cold front. Now, tomorrow morning, we're going to be in the mid-60s. 66 here in San Antonio. In the hill country, a degree or two lower here and there, but pretty consistent with what we've had the past few days. And similar start to the day with the low clouds and some fog. By tomorrow afternoon, back into the 80s. So shorts and short sleeves, A-OK for the kids at school. And you'll notice the humidity and mugginess as well. Friday, our high temperature drops about 10 degrees. We're back down in the mid 70s. Saturday and Sunday, we rebound pretty quickly, well into the 80s, only to see the temperature fall off again Monday and Tuesday for highs a little closer to 70. So definitely a variety of temperatures on the way, both in terms of nighttime and morning temperatures and afternoon highs. A little bit of everything on the way, just no freeze. That's the key, no freeze on the way. And unfortunately, I wish I had better news when it comes to rainfall. So we have that stationary front just to the north of us, overrunning moisture up over it, providing some showers and thunderstorms in North Texas, especially north of I-20. I wish some of those were going to head our way, but even once the next cold front comes in and nudges this front southward, I think most of the showers and storms will stay to the north, just as this high-res computer model is advertising. Most of the few showers and storms developing Thursday night into Friday morning staying north of San Antonio. But there is a bit of hope for the hill country, so we have about a 20% chance there. Otherwise, low clouds lingering around. I like to show you this periodically, the generalized 7-day forecast for precipitation accumulation. It's active across the nation. There will be areas of good rain and even snow, especially the West Coast, California, getting more of that moisture from another atmospheric river. But around here, unfortunately, not a whole lot. And we need it. East Texas doesn't need it. But here in San Antonio, we especially need it. We've got some of the worst drought across the entire state with the extreme and exceptional drought, parts of Bexar County and especially north and westward, but only a 20% chance. And that's as we get into tomorrow night into Friday morning. Otherwise, 66 in the morning with the fog and low clouds, 78 by noon, then 85 the high temperature, a southeasterly breeze at 5 to 15. Lower humidity Sunday afternoon, lasting through the early and middle part of next week. That's the biggest change from that next front, and that means mornings in the 40s.
All right, lower humidity. That's something. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, it is. The Buzz is up next.
We have certainly talked about it once in this show, but it deserves a second mention. It is International Women's Day, a day to celebrate the achievements of women and support action against gender inequality. You can mark the day by taking part in a march for women's equal rights, participate in a related fundraiser, festival, any kind of event, lots of social media posts as well.
Absolutely. Just post to the hashtag International Women's Day. You can keep celebrating for the rest of the month because it's also National Women's History Month.
That's right.
In case you didn't know. All right. A new generation of rocket ready to lift off. Relativity Space is set to launch the world's first ever 3D printed rocket. The mission, called Good Luck, Have Fun, is the company's first orbital attempt. It will not include a payload that would eventually carry customers.
That's my life's mission. Good luck.
Have fun.
Have fun.
Yeah.
The Terran 1 rocket is 110 feet tall, 7.5 feet wide. Relativity says it is the largest 3D printed object to exist and attempt orbital flight.
Do we want 3D printed rockets?
I don't know.
Okay.
But apparently we got them.
We got them.
So. Snoop Dogg is much more than just a rapper. Nearly 3 years ago, he teamed up with the Australian wine brand 19 Crimes to produce a red wine called Snoop Cali Red. Well, now he is expanding his line to include his first white wine. It's called Snoop Cali Blanc, and it is now in stores.
This is Snoop's fourth wine he's helped produce. He says he wanted to create a wine with a, quote, sexier, cleaner feel to it. And he says there's nothing better than his Cali Blanc.
Okay.
All right, Snoop. We're seeing a record early start to allergy season. We're just really all over the place with this buzz.
We are.
Yeah.
Buzzing in a lot of directions.
Yeah, allergy triggering pollen hitting the southern and eastern U.S. earlier this year than ever before. Waves of the yellow-green dust flooding the air, coating everything from car windshields to sidewalks. It comes after an exceptionally warm February in the south and east and is part of a trend that's being blamed on climate change.
In a report from the nonprofit group Climate Central, they found that allergy season has gotten longer on average since 1970. And we're about to get coated in all that yellow yuck here pretty soon.
I don't want longer allergy seasons.
No, me either.
All right, we'll be right back.